3,600 pounds, almost on the nose. The Wolf Pup 15SW finally landing here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. If you want to get an idea of the kind of volume the Cherokee Group puts out and the kind of demand and backlog they have on these Wolf Pups, without exaggeration, this was originally ordered here over a year ago. Now that's not normal, but there is so much demand for so many different Wolf Pups that a new floor plan like this, they just couldn't spend a lot of time producing it when there were other proven floor plans that people had already ordered and wanted in their driveways. It's just crazy how much they have grown and exploded in popularity. Now this is a very interesting critter. It's a single axle V-nose, easy towing little sucker, but with a slide that comes out the back that gives you more room than virtually any other Wolf Pup. In a way, it's kind of an alternative to the 18TO Wolf Pup that we also carry here at Haylett RV. And what's neat is it can work for singles camping, small family camping, couples camping. It's really an impressively multifaceted little camper. First, a quick look with that rear bed slide closed. Like most rear bed slide models, you need to fold down the sofa and the dinette into their sleeper positions. But what's neat here is it sits up high enough, if you're smart and you're reasonably careful, and small low profile totes are good for this, you can put some storage under here. The reason I say low profile totes is because you can pack a duffel bag too tall and shove it under there and not think about it, but a tote's the same height, it's uniform height all the time. That's why I think that's a good solution to put in here. Now, if you're going down the road, you need to stop and take a break. You can always get here, you can take a nap. You can use that bed slide when it is closed like this. It will not have lights when it's closed. There's a separate power cord that actually runs those lights that we'll look at later in the video. But what's also neat is, other than that, the kitchen, the bathroom, the everything else, you have free reign of this thing when it's closed up, which is a pretty handy feature. Now, even though it's a little bit outside of my normal rotation of things, I wanted to look at the sleeping capacity of this camper next, because when it's in travel mode, if all you do is run that rear slide out, well, congratulations. Now it's in guest sleeping mode or family sleeper mode. If you are mom and dad in the back, or maybe just one parent, you have one or two kids, this is a neat singles or couples or small family camper. Not everybody's looking for a bunkhouse, and this gives you a little bit more living space as opposed to something like a 16BH Wolf Pup that you might commonly find. And a recurring trend that we're going to encounter here as we go is how they had creative use of space and effective use of space. And one of the most interesting examples of that is the storage chest below this little sleeper sofa. Now, you might notice that's also where the battery box is located. That's a interesting feature on this floor plan, not usually found in almost any travel trailer, is to have an interior battery storage compartment. And it's simply due to just the odd qualities of this floor plan sort of necessitate that alternative idea. But how about that? How about a manufacturer willing to think outside of the box to come up with a cool, neat, effective, and unique solution to something? And then finally, in full-on living mode, you get a big camper feel out of a small towing package. And that's what's kind of cool about it. What really makes it work is this newly updated light dark interior decor contrast. It's very modern, very sharp, and these oversized feeling windows, these huge slide open, perfectly positioned cross breeze windows. If you want to get incredible airflow, you got it. Now, having the dark frame around that bed slide with those white walls and the window in the back, it also makes this feel ultra deep. Now, don't get me wrong, it's like a 4 or 5 foot slide out. It's a big slide, but it's also making this little RV much bigger when you get there. But what also doesn't hurt is, you notice how many lights they've put in that bed slide right there? This is a very well lit camper also. It doesn't just have big windows. It doesn't just have a modern color palette. It has lots of lighting. And they're high intensity LEDs with individualized button controls. So you're not you don't have to have the whole thing lit up like I do. You just can. Now, they're using the same sort of cinema style sofa that you see over here, as in the rest of the Grey Wolves and the Cherokees, so that you have a great little place to be able to sit down. You can literally kick your feet up on the dinette bench if your legs are longer like mine. And notice too, No carpeting. Now, a lot of times when an RV has a slide out, it needs carpet depending on the layout and the type of slide used, but because the slide is elevated above the floor for just the rear bed, that's not the case here, no problem. You've seen the storage, you've seen the sleeping of the dining arrangement, but now you get to see the easy little two-person seating space. But what's cool here is whether it's the dining table, this extra tabletop, the kitchen countertop, everything is a sealed edge pressed membrane so that you can walk in, you could set down a drink if it's a hot day or something like that and the drink wants to sweat and the ice cubes are melting. No big deal. It's not going to hurt anything, you know. These windows are huge and have those nightshades that you may have noticed also. Now, you do have a full-size air conditioner in here, and what's cool about that is unlike some single-axle miniature campers, this does have a full 6.5-foot interior height. So case in point here, guys, I'm 6'2", 6'3", and I can walk straight under the buttons. I can stretch, and my head still doesn't hit the knobs on the air conditioner. So it's not going to be a head knocker. And looking at the camera lens just now, I realize that thing is filthy and dirty, and I need to clean it. So hopefully this has been somewhat clear to you folks as I've gone through all of this. As we turn around, on the wall right next to where you walk in is the TV arrangement. Now, where I'm standing currently is the sofa. So it's not really a hard stretch. Like if you put a little swing out TV mount right there, you're never going to have a neck wrecker. Plus, a swing out TV mount, if you add one, could face the rear bed slide for evening viewing as well. It's actually a very intelligent location for that, especially considering TV use in a small camper like this is often a secondary concern for a lot of people. So I think the fact that they first prioritized across from the seating this huge viewing window with an additional huge viewing window right behind me and then another window off the rear wall. I think that was the right idea. I think they went about it the right way. Let me back up a little here. Like if you are sitting on the bed, this is kind of the view that you're going to get to have right here. You've got that door side window. You can see through up to the front Vino's bath, which we haven't even got to yet. The opposing matching big window. And by the way, there's going to be power outlets near your seating and sleeping areas. Now, some people go, what is this? This is what runs power for the lights in the bed slide. It seems odd, but this is actually a very, very common feature for rear bed slide type campers. A lot of them have something like that because it is difficult to run wiring on something that does slide 4 feet like that. Okay, entertainment. Let's finish that up. So if you want to, you could add a TV to the camper. And if you do, what's nice is you not only just have like your antenna and your part cable, but you notice that you've also got an HDMI port, like interior wired through the camper. And it runs down here to the entertainment unit, which also has an HDMI face port on it. So this is a Bluetooth stereo right now. It does have the ability to sync with your phone. But if you notice, you've got a handy shelf over here, and there's that dirty camera lens I told you about. I'll shield the worst of the light from you. You've got a shelf over here so that if you do want to add a satellite or a Blu-ray or something, you've got a place for it. You've also got a perfect little charger location over here, too. Now, the kitchen. I like the fact that all the Wolf Pups now have the larger 6 cubic foot fridge freezer. They have a full-size big camper fridge freezer in a little size package. But that's the other thing. When you get up here, this does not feel, it's not the biggest kitchen in the world. It's not like a rear kitchen full-time fifth wheel. But considering the size of this camper, it ain't bad. Now these are all hardwood cabinet door frames, very almost shaker style, like residential style, look and feel to them with like the larger handle so it's easy to grab. But notice how they used every little nook and cranny and space here in a really interesting and creative way. It's incredibly effective and very impressive. Like when I first saw this floor plan on the schematic, I said, you know what? It's different enough someone will like it, but I was really skeptical about the kitchen. And I don't think I should have been, because if there's one thing that the Cherokee Wolf Pup group does, it's they execute extremely well. And this corner chunk of counter space here, like having room for a coffee pot and having prep space and all that, that is just handy as all get out. I'm really happy with how they put this together here. It's small, it's different, but it's effective. And effective is really what you gained here by going with this front V-nose bathroom. You've got plenty of floor space, more so than most Wolf Pups. And you notice how they're using a shower pan and not a tub in front of that foot flush stool, or I guess next to it, as it were. But they're also including full shower surround paneling. What they're not doing, and what you have to watch out for, a lot of manufacturers and small campers, and even some entry-level 8-foot wide campers, they will put a piece of trim here, but they'll use white wallboard around the shower to kind of give you the illusion of shower surround paneling. And they're not doing that here. Now, there are pluses and minuses to shower surround paneling, but I know that more people do prefer to have the easier nature of the shower surround paneling, because what this does is it means you don't have to take your towel after a shower and just wipe down the walls real quick. Not a big deal, but now you don't have to worry about it. And we do have a power vent fan up here so that you can exhaust the steam from your shower out of the camper and not cause any sort of just like veneer delaminations or whatever off your Luan walls. You're not going to really cause major problems, but you will avoid cosmetic things and exhaust extra heat from the camper this way. One of the first questions whenever somebody sees the V-nose on one of these things is, does that help with towing? And the answer is, yeah, it definitely does. What it really creates is, it's just like, almost like an icebreaker sort of boat. It's just a headwind cutter. It's just a big old wedge that just cuts headwinds. And what that does is it helps air slipstream and distribute more evenly on both sides of the 7-foot wide easy towing little sucker. And what that means is better stability, because you're getting effectively like equivalent turbulence on both sides of the RV. That's a little bit of a gross oversimplification, but I think it's something that enough people can wrap their heads around to get the general idea of what we're looking at here. The one hiccup with this, and remember, I'm always willing to share the good, the bad, the ugly, and in between. The only trick with V-noses is it makes it very, very difficult to have front pass-through storage, which most campers have. But as we discussed inside, there is kind of storage under the, sort of underneath the rear bed area in the portion that's not in the slide out. We'll see a little bit more of that as we walk around. What is nice about this, though, is you have a fully protected propane and battery enclosure, which is what that little compartment door is on the bottom of the front wall here. Now, if you note, too, the V-nose section of this, it actually just extends over the traditional A-frame tongue of the chassis. So it's not really like extending the body of the RV. And that's really kind of secret to the sauce of this goulash right here, is that it's longer inside without being longer outside. And that's one of those Bob Vila mind bender kind of things. Now, down here, you do have a gas grill quick connect for an outside grill. And I do like to point out on these Wolf Pups how they still have four corner stabilizer jacks, manual stabilizer jacks, because this little trailer, you want that stability when you get to your campsite. It's impressive in a disappointing way how many small campers lack those front jacks. So I like to point those out. Now, a very good question. You say it's a single axle. It weighs 3,600 pounds. Isn't that, more weight than an axle should handle? And the answer is no, because they put a bigger, heavier axle on this thing to be able to accommodate for that kind of weight, just like the 18TO Wolf Pup. This is nothing new in terms of structural conception for the Cherokee family. All they did was just come up with a new floor plan and a new application for this concept. I don't foresee a lot of manufacturers jumping into the tiny V-nose market, but I do think Wolf Pup's going to do well here, because there's just not a whole lot else that's really, really like this. What's also neat about the Wolf Pups, as we saw inside, is how fully featured they are. Like, we saw the gas connect, the 4 stabilizer jacks, but a full outside hot-cold utility shower. You don't always find that in little campers. And a nice bright white courtesy light next to your dump station right here. That is a neat thing on these, and it's on a separate switch from everything else, so it's only on when you want it, so that you're not blinding the neighbors and they're not calling the park office and causing problems for you. Good looking mag wheels, and right on the end of those valve stems, they do have tire pressure indicating stem caps, so that if you look at it, if it's red and not green, before you leave, you know you need air in the tires. And improperly inflated, underinflated tires is the single #1 cause of flat tires in the RV industry. So the fact that you can look at that at a glance and know that you're correct, I think is awesome. Now, what's also cool is you can see how much of this slide sticks out the back here. That is the same type of slide system they use on full wall mega slides in the diesel pusher industry. It is a slide system which I am pretty darn confident is going to handle just this tiny little bed. Now, it looks imposing that so much of it is sticking out over negative space, but once again, it's a slide system that can be used on slides that weigh like 1,500 to 2,500 pounds without fail. I'm not too worried about it here. I'm just not. 200-pound rated fold-down cargo rack that obviously doubles as your spare tire carrier, but you fold that down and you can lock it in the down position, obviously, and you can see that there is a cargo compartment back here behind it too. Again, kind of like the Vinos thing, it does potentially limit exterior storage, but it maximizes interior living space. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this extra little bonus feature. After I was all done with my normal video, I thought, you know what? I want to take some extra time to show people that cargo rack and the storage area in the back, because I didn't get a good chance to look at it. Now, you don't have to close the bed slide to get to this. It just made it easier for everyone to see. The cargo rack can still go up and down. You already saw it in the up position. The only thing you want to be careful of is, like, if you stack bikes or cargo on this, you just want to make sure you unload it as required to open up the rear bed slide. Now, this thing has a 200-pound weight rating. That is before the spare tire is attached, however, so keep that in mind. Now, back here, you've got a, not like, I don't want to call it a pass-through because it doesn't go from side to side in terms of having a door on both sides, but it does go from edge to edge under the, I guess you call it the foot area of the rear bed slide out. So they are giving you any ounce of storage they possibly can, and really it does rival a lot of other smaller campers. They've just accomplished it in a very different way here. That's what's cool about this. That's what's cool about a dealership like ours that brings so many different trailers to the table all in one location. Like, I mean, you can just look in the background and you can see, as I've walked around this trailer, how many different things you've seen around here already. We like to have variance and selection, and we like to narrow down to help someone find their second camper their first try, you know, so that you're not reinvesting later. I also like the fact that you've got that like rear breeze window there and viewing window, plus of course this campsite viewing window right over that like sofa dining area is just fantastic for getting to really see and enjoy your destination. Not the biggest power awning in the world, but the biggest they could possibly put on this camper, and I can appreciate that. They did what they could where they could. It's also easy tilt and has LED lighting. And another neat thing, it's not just that has lighting. There's actually LED lighting in the backlights in the speakers. And if you choose to add a TV to this, you can have one TV that mounts inside or outside or wherever. You can see how it connects right here under your patio area. Pretty cool. We have an anti-slam entry door so that the door doesn't get caught by the wind and slam open and smash that awning arm, because that's a bad day at the office and that's a repair bill waiting to happen that Wolf Pup is basically eliminated for you. Even if you're a little careless, they've made sure that even a little bit of user oops isn't going to cause a massive, you know, $700-800 repair bill. Thanks, Wolf Pup. Appreciate it. Bigger entry handle standard, and those ever popular MORryde stable steps so that, you know, you pardon me, darn cold damp weather getting to my voice a little bit here. Excuse me. Anyway, the fact is here you got those adjustable feet. You can what's nice about the two-step too, it doesn't really stick out much further than any common like two-step steel step system, so it's not like it's really difficult to be able to access if you're parked next to something else or anything like that. It's always easy to get into. And up front here, like all the Wolf Pups, we have a simple side mount solar prep plug, so if you are looking to go off grid a little bit or just keep your batteries kind of tended and topped off, you've got a great way of doing that. We've got our walkable roof, we've got the King Jack antenna system, a full-size air conditioner. Again, it's got the features and equipment of a Cherokee or a Grey Wolf, but in something the size of like that little single axle Jayco that you see behind it, but with the living space a little bit closer to a Grey Wolf. It's a very interesting mix of features, and I know that this isn't going to work for everybody, but I know that someone's going to see this and go, wow, Wow, I've been looking for a little camper that I could take out in the woods for a while and have a nice amount of space when I get there for a rainy day. This is the one for me. That's going to happen for sure. So, whether it's this camper, that camper, any other campers in the background, understand guys, we only do everything here at Haylett RV, whether it's hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything in between. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.